Welcome. Hey everyone, surprise. I thought we would have another live stream today just for, an hour or so and go over some Korean stuff, answer some questions, see what everyone's up to. I'll start with a small announcement we have at the top of the hour. You'll get that at the top of the hour, which will be 2 o'clock in Los Angeles time. But until then, if anyone has any questions before we get started, feel free to ask them. Let's see who's here. Who's watching today? I'm curious. I know a lot of you are probably busy, as I will be tonight as well. I'm going to be going over to my mom's house and hanging out there, having dinner. Let's see who's in the chat already. Few of you I see are using your vacation time to study Korean and hang out on YouTube. That's pretty cool. Carl, I see Carl is my currently the first member to come in here. Hey, Carl. Yes. Lots of Merry Christmas. Yes. Merry Christmas if you celebrate. Happy Hanukkah. It's Kwanzaa. That's soon too, right? What else is there? Festivus. Am I missing any? And yeah, if you're wondering for in Korean, you want to say Merry Christmas to your Korean friends? Well, it's really simple. Someone already said it in the chat. It is literally Merry Christmas. They just use the same English word. I mean, there are other expressions you can say, like Happy Holidays to people, but typically most Koreans will use this expression just as is. So you don't really have to learn anything special if you want to wish your Korean friends Merry Christmas. Feel free to do that. It's a different holiday in Korea, but they still know this. They still, quote unquote, celebrate Christmas, albeit I'll say it's not in the same way that people will do in the US, but it's still a thing in Korea too. So yeah, Merry Christmas. Very easy to remember because it's literally the same thing in English. Hey, Aniki! 안녕하세요. Welcome, Aniki. Let's see here. Let me know where everyone's watching from. I'm curious who's watching here today, if it's mostly people in the US or from other countries. Let's see. Brianna asks, any tips on how to properly learn from conversational Korean videos? I might be making an upcoming video about that with for more detail, but yeah, so I'll have to say wait on that because I have something coming up. New York, Finland, learn hair with, I guess it was a flag. It doesn't display on my device, so I'm not sure what flag it was supposed to be. Germany, Texas, Hungary, Oregon. Do people in Oregon, this is a dumb question, do people in Oregon like or dislike the game Oregon Trail? I had a love-hate relationship with it in elementary school because it was so hard. If anyone's played the game, Oregon Trail is just a game that was installed on like everyone's computer in elementary school and middle school back in the, say, late 90s. And it was supposed to be like a simulator of crossing the United States in a wagon with your family. And it was really difficult, actually. So everyone dies. That's pretty much what happens. Unless you're really good at the game, you just die. And you die from dysentery, like diseases, or you drown, or something like that. And yeah, it wasn't very fun. It was fun, but it was very frustrating that you can't beat the game. So I'm wondering if people in Oregon also played that game too. It was a kid's game. Very difficult though. Canada, Wales, Romania, Nigeria. Okay, that's what the NG was. I wasn't sure if that was supposed to be a flag because it didn't display on my device. Nigeria, nice. Mississippi, Norway. Carl from Norway. Uzbekistan. UAE, nice. Boston. Boston. Berlin. Los Angeles. Welcome. Another person from Los Angeles. Alex says, New Year's resolution, more Go Billy, fewer apps. That sounds pretty good. Fewer apps. Yeah, I'd say that's a good path, fewer apps. I've done a video about some apps that I think are especially useful for learning Korean. I haven't tried all the apps out there, though, I'll say. I've tried a good portion of them. But there aren't that many, I think, that are helpful. And there are a few, though. But most of them, I'd say, there are better uses of your time. Danielle says, I love the game Oregon Trail, just be the banker. Can you play as the banker in that game? I didn't know there were any other options. I know you could try to cross, an Oregon Trail, and I know you can do like hunting and other things like that. I didn't know you had an option to play as a different character. Hi from Serbia, Kuwait, Czech Republic, New York, Florida, Poland, Texas, Munich, Germany, Britain. Alex says, but I can't break my addiction. The good one starts with L. You might be referring to Lingo Deer. That one was, as far as I know, that's the only one I heard that had good reviews years ago when I first tried it. I don't know what it's like right now. It used to be free, if we're talking about the same app. It used to be free, and then they changed it to paid. Didn't really appreciate that. But I think it's still pretty good, is what I've heard. Unless you're talking about a completely different app, then I don't know. That's the only one that I know was Lingo Deer. I'd say, though, if an app is helpful, then it's okay if it's paid. Like if it legitimately is helpful. But I haven't found too many that are. Carl says, I just use Papago. Okay. Papago is it depends for what are you using it. It's helpful in certain situations, but I would not rely on it. It's not very accurate. Yeah, it's not very accurate, I'll say. It's still useful, though, for, say, you need a really quick summary of something, or you just want a general translation of something you're reading. You don't care if it's accurate. You just kind of want to get a feel of what it says. It's fine. So I use it sometimes for that as well. But it's not like, it's not going to be trustworthy. So you can't just translate and be like, oh, it'll do it for me. It's really just like, I'm a bit too lazy to look up all of these words. I'll throw it in Papago. For that, it's useful. Trinidad and Tobago. Merry Christmas. Oh, I was reading that as a place that you're from. I'm like, you're from Merry Christmas land? Is that where Santa's from? Melissa says, Papago is more accurate than Google, right? That's what I've been told. Yes, that is correct. Papago is much more accurate for translation than Google is. But Google's not bad. In the old days, it was bad. Everything was bad. And Papago was okay. Nowadays, Google does a decent job of translating stuff. And Papago also does a decent job. They've upgraded a lot. ChatGPT also does a decent job. Sometimes better than Papago, sometimes worse. So you can just use any of those tools, but they all have the same pros and cons. They all can be helpful for just quickly translating something that you don't really care about, but they all have the same cons in that none of them are accurate. Like they might be kind of accurate on some stuff, but then you'll find other cases where it's completely wrong. So unless you already know enough Korean to not need it, they're not that great. Carl says, I just use it like you said. I know translators not. Yeah, that's fine. As long as you're aware of that, I think it's great. Just know that they're not going to be completely accurate, and then you can still get a lot of fun out of them. Same with these days, Bing Translate, being ridiculous. Bing is like worth recommending now. Google, Papago, or used to be Naver Translate. So Papago and then ChatGPT. All of those work for translating. Sometimes one will be better than the others. Let's see. Luke D says, do you know of any Korean video games that are helpful to someone who's learning? Video games. I almost made a video several years back about Korean games. So games made by Koreans in Korea to use them for learning Korean, because there are several. There are not a ton of Korean made games, like completely Korean made about Korea in Korea like that. There aren't that many, but there are enough that I could make some recommendations. But I never ended up making that video, and since I planned it, another handful of Korean games came out that I never played. So maybe in the future I can make that. But I have played several. I'm not sure if enjoyed playing is the best way to say it. There's a fun game. If you like horror games, there's a fun series called The Coma you might want to check out. It's not scary, but you know, if you're someone who doesn't like horror games, then maybe you're scared by it, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, it was kind of fun. There isn't too much Korean dialogue in it though. It was like maybe 20% of the game, 20% is dialogue. That's most of the games that I played are like majority is a game. You're playing a game, and then a little bit is dialogue that you have to read and interact with. That was pretty fun. And then I played another one called, what was it? Nobelos Diablos. I have to check the name again because it's a really complicated name. But it was a visual novel that's disguised. It's a dating simulator, but it's disguised as a horror visual novel. Yeah, but it was really fun. And the game's like 90% Korean dialogue. It's all voiced, so you're reading the entire game. It's like you're reading it and you're interacting, and that was fun. And they also released an expansion of that game that I never played. But yeah, it was a fun game. So I'd also recommend that. I don't know how I can recommend it without telling you the name of it, though. But if you search Korean games, you'll see it up there somewhere. Yeah, it was pretty fun. Let's see. Yes, and I've got something coming up for everyone at the top of the hour, really quick. I'd like to show you. But today's pretty casual, so if you got any questions, now is a good time. We're just kind of hanging out here. If you've got time, you want to throw any Korean questions my way, or we'll just chat. I'm good with that too. Stephanie says, Merry Christmas, Billy, to you, to your family. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you too. Okay, does anyone have a favorite Christmas movie? So I just like Christmas in general. I think it's just kind of cool. But yeah, I know not everyone celebrates Christmas. That's cool too. Oh, 천사님, thank you. Emmy Rui says or asks, what program do you recommend? What do you mean program? Do you mean like course? Or like a computer program? I'm not sure. Carl says, if I'm watching an English film, I try to have Korean text on. It's fun to see how much I can read and understand. I do that as well. Whenever I'm on an airplane that has an entertainment system, if I'm watching a movie that's in English on the flight, especially when I'm going to and from Korea, I'll switch the subtitles to Korean if they don't have a Korean dub of the movie. It's something. It's better than nothing. Or if I watch a Korean movie, I'll try to turn on the Korean subtitles if they have that as well. Home Alone 1 and 2, Carl says. Home Alone 1 and 2. Yeah, these are... These are called, the movie is Na Holo Jibe for Home Alone. These movies are very famous, especially the first one. The second one as well. We don't talk about the other ones after that, but there are two of them at least. And yeah, the thing is, these are Christmas movies, but if you... Are they really Christmas? They're kind of Christmas movies. They're kind of not. If you watch go back and watch Home Alone. It's set around Christmas time. Okay, Die Hard. I don't know about Die Hard is set around Christmas time. Is it a Christmas movie? I mean, technically, so is any movie set around Christmas time. So is Iron Man 3, but that's not really a Christmas movie either, although it was also set around Christmas time. I don't know if I call it really a strong Christmas movie because it's not about Christmas. Home Alone is a kid gets left home while his family goes on a trip, and he gets attacked by burglars, and he fends them off, defends his house, and then happens to meet back up with his mother on Christmas Day. And also in the movie there, he meets up with Santa Claus and the elf. And that's the only part of the movie that actually is like related to Christmas, is when he's talking with Santa Claus, but it's presented in a very negative way. Like Santa Claus just doesn't want to be bothered around, doesn't want the kid anywhere near him. So it's like, it is a Christmas movie because it's been associated with Christmas for so long, but it also has nothing to do with Christmas whatsoever. It's just set around Christmas. So it's like, I'll give it a half. It's half of a Christmas movie. And the same goes for Home Alone 2. Although Home Alone 2 is a little bit more of a Christmas movie, I feel like, because it kind of, I don't know, it's centered more on the bird lady. It kind of feels like they're trying to go out of their way to put like the Christmas feel, like a message of Christmas into the movie than the first one. So yeah, I love both of the movies. How the Grinch Stole Christmas is your all-time favorite. Do you mean the one with Jim Carrey? Please say no. Let's see what else other people put. Christmas Vacation. Okay, yeah, and Home Alone. All right. Die Hard. Yeah. I've actually never seen the whole movie Die Hard. I've watched like clips of it here and there, and I know that everyone says it's like a Christmas movie. I don't get how it would be a Christmas movie. It's just set. I know it's set during Christmas time, but from the clips I've seen, nothing has to do at all with Christmas. Is it? Does it have a Christmas theme? Like a really strong Christmas theme underlying it, or like it's all about Christmas? Or is it just set during Christmas time? Like, I don't get it. But I've never seen the movie, so I don't know why I've never seen the movie. I think I've just because I've never seen it. I'm not avoiding it. The Santa Claus. That was a fun movie. Tim Allen. I almost said Tom Hanks since they were together in Toy Story. Christmas with the Cranks. I've never seen that one. Charlie Brown Christmas. That is a classic. Every year I listen to the Charlie Brown Christmas CD with my family. That's what we always listen to whenever we're hanging out together on Christmas or Christmas Eve, is Charlie Brown Christmas. Excellent soundtrack. Anyone wants like some classic Christmas music, that's where you go. However, there is a better film, I would argue. I'll see if you can guess my favorite Christmas movie. I have a favorite. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Oh, that's right. You'd mentioned that. And then let's see. Oh, Jay asked a Korean question. Is there a shortened way of saying 만나서 반가워요? Yeah, you can just say 반가워요. 만나서 is specifically for the first time you meet someone, but 반갑다, the verb, can be used anytime you see someone. So 반갑다 is not only nice to meet you, like 반갑습니다, it's not only nice to meet you, it's also, hey, good seeing you. Oh, 반갑네요. Oh, 반가워요. It's like, oh, hey, good to see you. Nice to see you. So it's for people you already know as well. Or, oh, yeah, 반갑습니다. Nice to meet you. Like for the first time. But 만나서 makes it exclusively for meeting someone. So you can remove that and it has the same meaning. It just doesn't, it's not only for the first time you meet someone. Heather King says, I usually watch Polar Express. Polar Express. Okay, it's both the best movie, one of the best movies I've ever seen in the theaters, and also at the same time one of the creepiest movies I've ever watched outside of the theater. Like, I saw that movie when it released in theaters in 3D, and at that time 3D movies were kind of getting popular again a little bit. There was like a 3D boom for a few years. That was incredible. That was the best 3D I've ever seen on any movie before or since that movie came out. And then I watched it again, like on TV. I'm like, what is this movie? Everyone looks so weird. Like their faces are just like goo, like, I don't know, like a doll. Like it just looks so creepy. But there was an amazing theater experience. So I don't know if I loved the movie or hated it, but I can't watch it anymore. It was just so cool in the movie theater though. Someone said Love Actually. Okay. I have seen that movie on television once, I think. I don't remember much about it. Christmas in Connecticut. I've never seen it. Moon Eunji. Yes. Moon Eunji is the... You've got... That's the best, subjectively and objectively, the best Christmas movie ever made in history. Is and always will be, I actually don't know, A Muppet's Christmas Carol. Fantastic. And my favorite rendition of A Christmas Carol as well. Although there are several others that are very good. It's hard to find a bad version of Christmas Carol if you like that story. The, Scrooge, that sort of story. They're all good. It's a classic story. But The Muppets Christmas Carol is exceptional. That's good. ASDF asks, how tall am I? I am 171 centimeters. Becca Turner says, nope, the cartoon version of the... Oh, thank goodness. That's great. With the one with the song, right? You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. That one, right? Yeah, that one's great. Carl says, Bad Santa is also a banger. I never saw that one. That one was... I think that came out like 2000... I'm trying to remember. 2006? 2005, sometime around that, maybe 2004, sometime around that range. I just didn't see that movie around that time, and I just forgot about it. But I'd heard some people really liked it. 빌리 방송 가끔 보는데 정말 잘 가르치는 분입니다. 즐거운 연말 보내시고 새해 복 많이 받으세요. Yeah, thank you, 천사. A Christmas Story. Gosh, that is such a classic and a creepy, weird, like uncomfortable to watch movie at the same time. It's both a beloved classic and a really weird movie. And I think everyone who likes the movie will agree with that statement. It's just so weird. But at the same time, like, it's so memorable and quotable. Like, I watched that movie probably only like twice, maybe 2-3 times in my life. And I still remember all of it, like, getting the duck at the Chinese restaurant, with like you'll shoot your eye out, like everything. It's just so weird. Like tongue sticking to the pole. Such a weird movie. The Leg Light. Daniel Posh, you've got the Charlie Brown Christmas soundtrack on vinyl? That sounds awesome. That's good. Someone said the movie Borrow Hearts. I've never heard of that before. Was Begin Again a Christmas movie? I actually can't remember. I don't know if that was a Christmas. I know that was really famous in Korea, but not at all in the US. I can't remember if it was Christmas related though. I don't think it was. Thinking about it again. KK Creative World says, I watch Home Alone. The first one's the best one. Yeah, I would agree with you. The first one's the best, but the second one you get Tim Curry. So it's kind of close. It's a close race. I think the first one still wins for being an overall like heartfelt movie and creative and everything. But the second one, you can't replace Tim Curry in any of his movies, but in that one as well. So I don't know. I think he single-handedly makes the second one as good as the first one. Yes. Just think of his face and you'll agree. Ayan asks, what do Koreans do in Christmas? That's a very good question. Well, I'll talk about that in a second. Remind me of that in just a couple minutes because I have something coming up. The most beautiful moments in life says, 선생님 안녕하세요. 메리 크리스마스. Thank you. 감사합니다. Christmas with the Cranks is about a couple who try to skip Christmas since their daughter won't be home and their daughter surprises them. Is this an older movie? I've heard the name, but I don't know. Is it like one of those classic comedy movies like Christmas Vacation or Home Alone or one of those types of things? Or is it a newer one? Because I only know the name. Natalie says, I just watched Elf. That's a Goofy movie. Oh, Goofy movie. That's a great movie, but not a Christmas movie. It's a Wonderful Life. Zoe Lewis. Yes. It's a Wonderful Life it's so classic. You don't need to say it when people ask your favorite movies to watch in December. It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah. Oh, whoa, what, no, everyone, we'll save the bank. It's a good movie. I haven't watched it purposefully in many years because, like, I already know it. So I'm like, why do I watch? I have that movie. Like, I know exactly what happens. I have the storyline memorized. So, oh wait, hold on. I think we've got something. Uh-huh. Hold on. 할 말 있어?
몰라요. 근데 오늘 크리스마스 이브잖아요.
크리스마스 이브지.
오늘 선물 많이 받을 거예요.
제레미가?
네.
아, 어떻게 알아?
언니 아빠가 얘기해줬으니까.
아, 그치. 아빠가 선물 많이 받는다고 얘기했지.
음.
제레미, 가장 받고 싶어하는 선물 뭐야?
제가 고른 그 강아지 피규어?
강아지 피규어? 그게 뭔데?
마인크래프트 강아지 피규어 그거잖아요.
아, 마인크래프트.
그거 강아지 피규어.
아, 그래? 제레미 뭘 봐? 왜 컴퓨터 이거 봐야지.
아빠
카메라
보고
봐야지.
있었는데요.
아니, 컴퓨터 보지 말고. 제 인사해.
안녕하세요.
제레미, 혹시 지금 보는 사람은 Do you have something to say to my subscribers who are watching? 제레미,
네.
혹시 할 말 있어?
여기 누구 있는데요?
지금 75명 75명
75명.
75 people are watching.
이거 엄청 많네요.
혹시 할 말 있어?
없어? 크리스마스 이브에 토카예요. 그리고 내일도 크리스마스니까 일단 내일 크리스마스니까.
뭐라는 거야? 할 말 없구나.
내일 크리스마스인데요.
내일 크리스마스라고?
네.
그럼 메리 크리스마스라고 해보는 거 어때?
메리 크리스마스.
근데 크리스마스 What about for people who don't celebrate Christmas? What about for people who celebrate like other holidays?
한우카 있잖아요.
그 뭐라고 해야 돼?
그거 한우카니까. 한국어로 한우카인데 그냥.
잠깐만. 우리 방금 5불 벌었어.
5불?
그거 5불. 잠깐만. 제레미 거기 서지 말고 여기. 거기 서 있어. 잠깐만. 누가 줬지? 마티나. 제레미, 마티나 고맙다고 그래.
마티나 고맙습니다.
마티나 님이어야 되는데.
아니 마티나 님 고맙습니다.
좀 보자.
여기 달러. 이거 깜빡했잖아요.
그렇지. 5불 정도인 것 같아. 그리고 제레미, 뎁 5번 할래? 뎁 5번 해봐. 잘한다. 아빠보다 잘하는데?
제가 원래 잘하니까요.
Jeremy, are you excited?
네.
Tonight we're gonna go to to grandma's house. 가서 선물 뜯을 거지? 제레미 선물 많이 받을 것 같은데? 할머니한테? 오.
근데 내일 리임은 안 오잖아요.
친구 안 온다고? 그치. 근데 내일은 크리스마스 날이니까 가족끼리만 보내는 거야. 우리 가족만, just us. 우리끼리만 보내는 거야. 잠깐만. Can you see him okay? Jeremy, do you want me to hold you?
네.
오케이, 잠깐만. 그러면 더 잘 보일지도? 이거 빼고.
더 잘 보이긴 하네요. 근데
그거 안 돼.
아.
목소리 괜찮아? 감기 걸렸어?
아니요?
왜 기침해?
기침하는 거 아닌데요.
그럼
그냥 목이 가래.
아, 가래가 있다고?
네.
Though we don't normally speak only in Korean, right? Huh? We usually do mostly in English and then some Korean.
Yeah. We sometimes do that.
Yeah, but Jeremy's used to it to use both Korean and English. Oh, okay, Jeremy. I'm gonna send. Oh, my hair. 잠깐만. 모자 다시 줘봐.
모자 싸움 이긴 사람 저예요.
모자 싸움? 오케이. 다시 하지 말자. Darren, you might need to drink some more water.
잠깐만 내려와서 물 마시고 있을게요.
It's okay. It's okay. Jeremy, I'm gonna send you back downstairs. You can get changed, and then we can leave. Like, what do you say? Like after an hour? Okay. We can go there a little early, so you can see your presents early. Okay, Jeremy. 자, 인사해.
안녕히 계세요. 저 이제 가야 해요.
Okay. Okay, Jer. 안녕. Okay. Jeremy just wanted to stop by and say hi. It was actually his idea. We were eating lunch today and he said, I want to do the streaming with you. So I said, oh, today I'm just doing like a YouTube streaming. And it's just for like a Q&A, just to talk with everyone. And yeah, but he still said he really wanted to do it. So I said, okay, well, how about just for like a couple minutes? He's like, okay. So yeah. Hey, Lexica, welcome. All right. Before we were talking about Christmas movie. Someone said a Cosmic Christmas. I've never heard about that. Melissa says the Goofy movie soundtrack was so much better than it needed to be. Yeah, that's true. I've got the Goofy movie soundtrack all in here. Most of the songs also I had those memorized. I don't know if I still do, but the most beautiful moments in life. Hey, thank you. I'm not sure what currency that is, so give me a second so I know how many dabs to give you. USD. That's like $1. Cool, thank you. TMBML. I'll write that. Jeremy is language goals. Yeah, I think though for Jeremy, we've been purposely using Korean with him on a regular basis since he was born. And we encourage him to get to read in Korean. He watches shows in Korean. So there really isn't a way that he wouldn't speak Korean with how much we make sure to provide him with that's in Korean. And then because we've done that since he was born and we make sure he's interested in it, we're not worried about him like getting lazy and not studying or anything, because he has a certain part of his interests that are already connected with Korean. Like, you know, his favorite shows are in Korean. So, you know, even if we told him don't study Korean, he's still going to go watch the shows and still practice his Korean. And then this last trip to Korea last month when I was over there, I brought home like over 10 pounds of Korean books for him. And we've given him like a few of those so far, kind of like ration them to him like once a week kind of. And he'll read through those. He loves reading. So yeah. When you said Lexica, I thought you were talking. Let's see. BBOKARI asks, what's the difference between A and ASOL? Or are they the same, and when do you use which? I've done live streams I've done several lessons about these. So you might want to watch those if you want an in-depth lesson, but A is for any sort of location. So if you're just saying someone is going somewhere or someone is staying somewhere, like you're just located something. If when you're just talking about it as a location, like to, or I'm going there, I'm going to the store, I'm going to anywhere, like to, that's A. Eso is when you're specifically doing the when you're doing something at the location. So eso would be with an action. Not going, not just going to, but like you're actually doing something there. So you would have lunch at a restaurant. You'd meet your friend at, because you're meeting, you're doing an action at somewhere. That's the main difference. There are lots of little differences as well we could go into in like a separate lesson, but I've already done lessons about this, so I won't for today. But yeah, that's the biggest difference. Just location or doing something at that location. And they often translate the same way in English. Like I met my friend at the library, or it is located at the library, or, you know, I'm going in there, or anything like that. J Star asks, is there a difference between 고마워 and 감사합니다? Yeah, 고마워 is just a casual, the simplest answer is 고마워 would be a very casual way to say thank you. And 감사합니다 would be very formal. So that's the biggest difference. There are other differences, but that's the biggest one. We were talking about like movies, and we were mentioning about like lots of Christmas movies, but are there any Hanukkah movies? I just realized, like, obviously Christmas is the biggest, you know, holiday they have in December, but they also have a lot of other holidays in December. Are there any like famous Hanukkah movies or like Kwanzaa movies, or I would say Festivus, but that's kind of a joke. Are there any like famous like movies during this time that aren't for Christmas? I don't think I've ever seen a movie that's centered on Hanukkah, like a big movie. Do they just not make them? Aniki asks, where can I find Hanja words for a specific character? Because when I search that character on Naver Dictionary, there's a tab called, So Hanja words for a specific character. I see what you're talking about. You want to find like, you'll search the Hanja for like cool, for like high, like something that's tall. And you want to find what words have this in it. Naver doesn't have that feature as far as I know. You would need to search for the Hanja on, Naver Dictionary doesn't have that feature. Naver, just the search engine, you could probably find that. If you put the Hanja that you want, the character, and then write Hanja in Hangul right after that, I think it's going to show you, it'll show you a website that will have a lesson about that. And in that lesson, they will have words. If you buy any Hanja book, you're going to find that sort of information as well in Korean or in English. Most of them are in Korean. Any Hanja book will also list words that use that character, but you're never going to get a complete list. It'll just be whatever the author finds to be some of the most common ones or some of their favorite ones. So yeah, there isn't really a good feature for that. Oh, hey, Becca. Becca Turner. All proceeds today go toward Jeremy's presents, actually. No joke. Because I got him something for Christmas, but we still haven't completely finished Christmas shopping. But yeah, thank you so much, Becca. You wrote, "Thank you for all you do for us. I'm older and learning can be more challenging, but I think I'm starting to, quote unquote, get it." Yeah, it's for people who are older and learning Korean, the challenge will be, I mean, you have a lot of challenges, not just due to not being as quick as younger people could be. But I think the biggest challenge is going to be just that it's harder to do a lot of the things that younger learners can do very easily. Like younger people will still have a lot of opportunities to attend school in Korea, work in Korea if they want, traveling, moving all over the place, meeting new people more easily. But you can do a lot of that stuff. It's just a little bit more difficult. Like making friends, it might be hard to find a lot of friends because people who are studying English in Korea typically are going to be around college age-ish. That's when people are most interested in learning languages, when they're most interested in having language exchange friends. But there are still plenty of people who are in their 40s, 50s, and so on. I don't know your age, but just there are people in that age as well that are still looking for friends. So I think that's going to be a little bit more difficult, is finding people to practice with. But besides that, I mean, I know people who are even in their 70s. I'm sure you're not there, but I know people even 60s, 70s that learn Korean just fine. It just, takes a little bit more effort to do that. But yeah, thank you so much. There's a book called Handbook of Korean Vocabulary. Yeah, I used to have that book. No, here. This one. This does not have everything though, but it also has what I was mentioning. So like if you look up, for example, here, I just the one I pulled right to here right now. On, meaning warm. Like you can see this word in like ondor, like the heated floors. So anytime you've seen on, every time you've seen this character on, and it'll list the character, it's gonna have something to do with warm or heat. So it'll list onchon, like a hot spring, like an onsen, we would say in English. Onsu, hot water. That's what they list in the water machine. It'll say onsu and nengsu for cold and hot water. Ondor, it has that here. Onsang, like a hot bed. Yeah. Onsil, that's a greenhouse. Kion, like temperature. Like ki is like, in this case, it's like the weather. So it's like the warmth of the air, kind of. Koon, high temperature. Choon, low temperature. Ondo, the amount of the heat, which is what we say degree. Ondoge, thermometer, it has all these things. It doesn't have everything, but it does have a lot. But so this book's pretty useful for that sort of stuff. But I think this book is going to be way above most people's level. And I mean, if you're in the solid intermediate level, like you really need to start building your vocabulary and you can already speak, then this book becomes helpful. But it's going to have a lot of stuff you do not need. Like lots of words in here. I mean, I've heard them before, but I never have needed them. Even like regular words. Here we go. Like the word for, here we go. They'll have like 4 different words for the exact same thing. Yeah. 말 솜씨, 말 재주, 말 주변. Those are all like your skill in speaking. And so if a beginner is looking at this book, they're going to be like, well, which one do I learn? There's so many things you don't need in here. But it's still good as a reference. You can, if you find a new word that you want to know, or like new hanja, you want to know where it's used, or not even hanja, but just regular Korean root words are in here as well. So yeah. But yeah, you can also find those hanja sort of things anywhere on Naver. 그러자 호랑이는 떡을 다 먹고 그 자리에서 어머니까지 잡아 먹었어요. Okay, so yeah, Carl asks a question about 가지. 가지 literally means, so here's your end. 가지 means all the way up to whatever point you're talking about. So up to, or until, or by. Like if you say, like you have to finish this by 3 o'clock. What you mean is you can work on it until 2:30, until 2:45, until 2:90, until 2:99. Sounds like a price. 2:59, but you need to have it done by before 3, right? So up to, by. You can finish it by 3. Up to 3, you can work on it. You can finish it, or you can work on it until 3. So that's what 가지 means. But that's what it always means, actually. But when you use it with a location, someone's going up to your house. Someone's going they're going to your house. Like we might say it as far as. Like, yeah, I went down to I went downtown. Like I went up to you don't say up to downtown. I went up to this place, or I went all the way down to this place. And you're kind of emphasizing that it's far, but you went that far. That's how far you went. So it can be used with locations to kind of like emphasize a location, like it's kind of far, or, you know, it's not expected that I might go there. But it can also be used, and again, same literal meaning, but it can also be used with any sort of noun. Again, what does this mean then with a noun? So you're going up to a noun, until a noun. Well, yeah, it means that whatever you're talking about applies to everything up until that noun. So in this case, you would just translate it as even. It's just a more emphatic version of even, because you could also just say to, like also, but to just means including this, including this. Gaji has the emphasis of like even, right? Because it's like all the way up to even that person, like as far as going to that person or that noun. So yeah, for this case, if you said the sentence you had, 어머니까지, like he ate the 떡, and then where else did he go? He went all the way up to, and he also ate the mother. This is the Little Red Riding Hood. Or no, sorry, not Little Red Riding Hood. That's the this is the 달과 해와 달, right? I'm trying to think. I heard that story like a long time ago with the. No, is it a tiger? I don't even remember what it is. It's a tiger, right? Yeah, the tiger eats the mom selling duck, and then tries to eat the kids, and then it kind of turns into like a Little Red Riding Hood type of scenario, and then they run away and climb up a tree. Yeah. 해님 달님. Okay, yeah, that's the same story. So yeah, it means even, but that's how it means even. So you understand that it's not the exact same as just saying to, which also can translate to even. Alex asks a question, and then I have a couple more questions. Would you say beginning learners should prioritize grammar? Yes. Oh, beginning learners, I think, should prioritize. It's really sour. Grammar, like close to 100%. Now I'm saying, beginner. So people who've only been studying for a short time, they're still in the beginning level. Yeah, don't focus on vocab when you can't use the vocabulary yet. There's no sense learning like all of the colors, all of the numbers, all of the, I'm not just talking about basics, but like going further and learning like every extra color, every extra animal name. There's no sense when you can't put those into a sentence. You'll just end up forgetting them before you can use it. But once you've gotten past the beginning level, then you should balance it out. You're going to be learning way more vocabulary than you are for grammar. And then when you're in advanced, it's going to be very little grammar you're learning new, and just lots and lots of expressions, hanja, vocabulary, common phrases, idioms, stuff like that. And Aniki asks, I've asked this question in Discord, but I want to ask it again. Why is the passive form of beakida used with an object particle? That's a good question, but it's not the only verb that does that. Maybe I'll make a Korean FAQ about this sometime, but there are some other situations where that happens as well. Why is a good question. I might come back to that so I can give a better example. But the object marker is not only used when you have an action verb. Now, it can't be used with a descriptive verb because there's nothing that's doing something to it. But the object marker specifically, it only has to do with something that's affecting that. So it means it is the object of something, like something doing something to something. This is the object. So that's what the object marker marks, is just the thing I'm going after is being affected by something. That's how it works. And there are some other cases where it also can be used in that sort of situation. But the exact why, I don't want to guess and then I'm wrong later. So I'll get back to you on that. You can ask me in Discord and I'll try to see if I can provide more information about that. But I might make a video about that sometime in Korean FAQ series. Good question. Let's see. Xandria. Yeah, this is a, welcome Xandria. This was just an extra live stream. This will not affect the schedule. We're still going to be doing 2 classes starting from next Sunday, and then the Sunday after that, we'll have another live stream. So this is just a bonus live stream I wanted to do today because why not? I figure there are going to be some people out there who don't have anything to do today, or they just want to hang out. Maybe they're busy. Maybe you're currently hanging out with your family and you don't want to hear your granddad start talking politics or something and you decide to turn on YouTube. So that's what I'm here for today, at least for another like 45 minutes or so. But one more thing for Aniki is, I will say this, you do not need to worry about that sort of usage. In fact, this is probably the reason why I haven't made it before and that it's so uncommon. You do not need to know about that usage. All you need to know is how you've seen it used and just copy that. You don't need to learn this as a different usage case for it because the object marker does have some other uses that don't get talked about that much. I did a live stream actually all about the object marker where I explained how this kind of works. But you don't really need to learn all of the uses of the object marker in order to correctly use it. Carl says, usually your Sunday streams are too late for me. Yeah, for a lot of people in Europe, they're like super late. That's because I start them here at 2 o'clock, but that's like 6 a.m. in Korea. Or I don't know, it might even be 5 a.m. in Korea. It's just super early. Yeah, I think it is. 5, 6, no, 7 a.m. in Korea time. And then for people in Europe, it can be like 3 in the morning or something like that, depending on where you are. And Xandria, also, you did miss my son. He made a quick appearance. Everyone here just saw him about 20 minutes or so ago. And he said hi to everyone. And then he left. Let's see here. Becca Turner said something before. My granddaughter is Korean, and I have friends who are Korean. Unfortunately, 2 of my Korean sons are in Korea. Oh, okay. 60. Oh, so you're 60. Okay. You'll want to get Korean friends or pen pals or anyone you can practice with. That doesn't have to be in person. You can also find them online. And that might be the easiest way to find people to practice with. But sometimes I do see people in the language exchange apps that are in their 50s and 60s. They just don't get as many matches as people who are in their 20s or 30s. But you can find them. I mean, I'm sure they'd love to have someone they could practice their English with and would be happy to help you practice Korean as well. They're there. They're just kind of waiting there. Yeah, his son. Yeah, that's right. Jeremy hit my hat off of me and my hair looked like all crazy messy. It normally is. I have to cut it though. It's especially messy right now. I haven't cut my hair now in well over a month and a half. Yeah, I cut it right when I arrived in Korea. So like the first week of November. And I haven't cut it since, and it's grown really long. But I don't really want to go get a haircut because haircuts are like $30 plus tax and tip. So you end up spending like, I don't know, $36 or so just so that they can run like an electric razor over your head in like 5 minutes. So I don't really want to do that. So I might just wait and then cut my hair myself, you know, in the bathroom. Since I wear a hat, no one will really know. But I'm supposed to do that. I normally cut my own hair. I don't think anyone knows this, but I normally, every time you see me, if I'm not in Korea, in which case I get my hair cut in Korea because it's so cheap and they do such a good job. But if I'm not in Korea, I've cut it. The hair you see is I've cut it myself, except for right now because I haven't cut it yet. It's just a bit long. Yeah, it's like going into my eyes now. But I can do it. It just takes a lot of time. So I usually don't do it too often. It takes like an hour to do it right. Hanguk Ah asks, Billy, I've seen people mention using ChatGPT and other AI to practice Korean with. I did a video about this, ChatGPT for learning Korean. It was back in February of this year, but it still applies today. Although the ChatGPT model has gotten much better, it's the exact same problems you're going to find. And I've even checked by asking it the same questions, and it still doesn't have the right answers for them. So practicing, no, I wouldn't do that. It's fine for translating in the same way that Google Translate is fine for translating, just to get a general idea. And it's great for giving you ideas for things. Like if you want to write a letter to your friend and in Korean, you don't know where to start, you can ask ChatGPT, hey, can you write a letter in Korean for me and explain why you're doing each thing, and get a general template of how to write a letter. It's great, but it's not going to be accurate. So you can't trust the actual translation that it gives you. Or it might be accurate, but it's awkward. Like it's way too formal, or it's way too casual, or it's, it's not going to match perfectly. So don't trust it, but it's fun. It's more of like a tool than it is a teacher. Maybe someday they'll update it and it'll actually be smart, but so far it's still basing all of its knowledge off of the data set it has. And the data set that it has is always going to be flawed because it just grabs every Korean lesson from the internet. And there's so much wrong stuff out there, and it just parrots it directly back to the user without knowing. Because I mean, how could it know? But it doesn't have any, consciousness to think about what it's saying. And until it does, it's always going to have the same mistakes. Someday, if they get AI to actually have a conscience and think about what it's saying, and it'll be able to correct for this, but it still has a lot of the same basic mistakes that, anyone learning Korean would make. Natalie asks, what is a haircut run for men in Korea? It depends where you get your hair cut. If you just want your hair cut, you don't really care too much, it's going to be like $10. And they'll just do it really quick, 5 minutes or so, and then you go into the sink and you wash your hair off. They have like a washing station where you can spray your hair. This is at a chain called Blue Club, which is the discount haircut chain in Korea. And they do a decent enough job. They do it really quick and it's cheap. If you want a really nice haircut where they'll spend some time, they'll wash your hair with shampoo, they'll talk with you, they won't rush, and they'll take maybe 15 minutes to cut your hair, 20 minutes. That will be around $15. And that's usually what I prefer because I kind of like the conversation because it's Korean practice for me. So yeah, $10 to $15 is what you'd expect. And if you want something really fancy, like you want them to do like a perm to your hair and, spend like 45 minutes with two guys working on your hair and like talking to each other and deciding like how they should cut it. You want that? That's going to be like $30. I've done that a couple times as well. But at the end of the day, it's not a huge difference between the $10 cut and the $30 cut. The $30 cut does look a little bit nicer, you can tell. But it's not like bad to good. It's more like good to great, I guess. Yeah, in the US, if I go to like Supercuts, it's going to be $20 to $25 just for them to spend 5 minutes really cutting it. And then they're like, okay, bye. And then you have to tip, of course, because I guess they're not getting paid enough. So you got to tip and then, tax, and it comes out to like $30. And it's not even as good as the $10 haircut in Korea. James Termy says DeepL works well. It has the same problems as ChatGPT though. It sounds natural, but it can't tell you when you've made mistakes and why. It's using just the information it has from the internet, which is still flawed. Xandria, yes. Spinning plates. Right, right. Lexica says, the barber I go to starts at like $45. So that's a new thing in Korea you should know is... So in the US, you want your hair cut, where do you go? You go to the salon, right? You go to a salon to get your hair cut. If you go to a barber shop in the US, it's a little different, right? A barber shop is a slightly different atmosphere. It's more of like a cafe. Like you go there, you get a drink, you talk with your the barber. They ask you questions. They'll do a shave, right? They'll use like the lather. I don't even know what the terms are called. They use like, the warm cream, and they'll give you a shave right there. They'll use like a razor on the back and everything. And then they'll like slowly take care of your hair. They'll style it. They'll check it with you a bunch of times. It's more of like a process, right? They work with you together, and you get it done like 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what you're doing. But I said 30 minutes is probably good. And then you walk out of there, you felt like you just had a chat with a friend or something like that. That's a barbershop, right? Different experience than just getting your hair cut real quick. Korea lately, it's kind of becoming a trend. Oops, my pen slipped out of my hand there. We would say in English, we'd also say this is a fad. They come and go. Like trends in Korea, there will be multiple trends every year that appear and then die. So this is a trend, meaning that it's not going to stick around forever unless it gets so popular, then it could stick around forever. But most trends come around, die after a year or two. And right now, one of the trends in Korea as of this year is that barbershops or current hair places are converting to barbershops, and new barbershops are opening. So that the difference between that is just like a barbershop in the US. So in Korea, normally you get your hair cut, you walk in, you sit down, they cut your hair real quick, you wash your head, and then you leave. But the barbershop is going to be like kind of like the US style barbershop where they give you a shave. They're exclusively for men. Also, that's the other thing, is like a barbershop is exclusively for men because they shave you. I mean, I don't know if you're a woman, you walk in, they might shave you too if you want. I don't know how it works if you're not a guy. But anyway, this is just what I've heard. And they'll give you a drink. They kind of talk with you. They'll do like different styles of haircuts that you might get at a barbershop, and then they'll have like the chair that like pumps, they have the atmosphere of like the standard barbershop that you have in the US. They're opening these barbershops more in Korea. So it's kind of a trend lately. So you might see people talking about barbershops in Korea, and that's what they're referring to. It's this trend going on right now. Bedberry, yes, shaving foam. That's what I was looking for. Xandria says, I think it would be fun to get my hands on a Korean box of hair dye and see how far I can get. Whatever, it grows back. That is true. It grows back. Once I used to cut my hair just by putting on a number 5, the razor. So it's like about this short, and then just going over all my entire head. And it's really easy to do that. You can do that with your eyes closed. Just give yourself a haircut and you're done. And then it would grow back. It would take like a month and a half or so. And then I'd need to do it again. But once by accident, I thought I grabbed a 5, but it was actually was it a 3? Yeah, I think it was a 3, a 2 or a 3. It was ridiculously short. It's like this. I look like I had just gotten enlisted to the military. And I started cutting it. And by the time I realized it was already too late, so I'm like, okay, whatever. So I did the whole thing. 2 months just to grow back to a regular length that wasn't like horrible. And that's as a guy. Guys, we can get by with like really short hair. Typically women tend to prefer to grow their hair out longer. So yeah, I mean, it's true you'll grow your hair back, but how long would it take? Like 6 months, a year before it gets back to the regular length you want? So just be a little careful with that. Simone asks, is Merry Christmas too informal? It's not formal, but it's just like you're speaking English. That's how Koreans would say it. Merry Christmas as Merry Christmas. Aniki says, not wanting to brag, but in Romania, the price is around $6 to $8. Yeah, that would be Korea in a cheap place. But it would be decent. There are places that will cut your hair for even less than Blue Club, which I mentioned, which I think now is $10. It used to be like $4 when I was first visiting Korea. Like the first time I went to Korea, so like back in 2005, it was like $4. So it was like 5,000 like 5,001, which was around like $4 at the time. But it's not that cheap anymore. It's gone up, obviously. But yeah, still. And some of like the best hairstylists, not hairstylists, but best people who cut my hair were also the ones that worked there. They could cut my hair in under 5 minutes for the entire thing. And like not just a razor, but like they would just go so fast, like flipping their scissors around while like cutting and everything. It was cool. It was like you get a haircut and a show. What is everyone doing for? Does anyone have any plans for the vacation? I assume everyone has a vacation for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. It's probably a national holiday. I don't know if every country does it, but you probably have something. Any plans? Whether you celebrate Christmas or not, are you doing anything cool? I'm only planning to go to my my mom's house tonight just to hang out with my family. That's pretty much all I have planned. Ryed says, 안녕하세요, welcome. Lexica says, I've been off this past week and studying about 4 times as much as I usually manage to during a normal work week. Wow. Nice, you're using your time well. Zandria says, my family is in Montana. Oh, without you. What's going on? Did they leave you at home alone? Or did you make your family disappear? Heather King says, I'll be watching Doctor Who. Probably my my mother as well. She recently, from just last month, got into Doctor Who. Now, I don't watch the show. I've never seen a single episode of it. But I know something about it that is, it goes on forever. So if she's going to end up watching, like, I don't know how many thousands of episodes they have. I just told her good luck. Good luck catching up. Danielle says, I'm going to the beach. That'll be nice. Hanguga staying home. Beb Berry spending with family and doing diamond art. What is that? Alex says, 11-day break from work. Resting and study Korean. Nice. Lauren is an orchestra ballet event. Are you doing those or just going to see them? James Turney said, join Kakao Talk. Good place to find native speaking friends. Yes, if you know where to look, that is true. Sandria says, I live in Oklahoma. Okay. Oklahoma. Isn't that the famous? Never mind. Natalie says, I get 2 weeks off. Having a staycation. My family lives by me. Nice. 2 weeks is great. Mattis Hatter says, I'm going to watch A Christmas Story. It's my favorite Christmas. That movie's... It's so hard to watch, though. It's like... It's so great and terrible at the same time. It just rubs me the wrong way, but you can't turn it off. I think it's the narration that bugs me the most. Like, if it didn't have narration by, like, a 40-year-old adult for this movie, I don't know. It's just bugs me. It's not like the narration for A Princess Bride, which I really like, because it's the grandpa reading the story. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like the Wonder Years narrator, which actually was Marv from Home Alone, funnily enough. Random fact. But yeah, I don't know. The narration in Christmas Story just rubs me the wrong way. Carl says, I'll be shoveling snow and trying to get better at Korean. My manager at work can't wrap her head around the idea that I do this to relax. Yeah, I mean, yeah, studying can be kind of relaxing. It's a break from whatever you're normally doing. Shelby says, watching Christmas movies. Okay, so before I mentioned my favorite Christmas movie is Muppet Christmas Carol, I have a second. There's a number 2 favorite Christmas movie starring the amazing Shakespearean actor. Some of you may have heard of him. He's from Austria, so you might not know how to pronounce his name, but it's I believe it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it's a little movie, a small movie called Jingle All the Way. It's also one of my favorite Christmas movies. I absolutely love that movie. It's horrible, but I love that movie. Yes. Brings a little tear to my eye every time I watch it. Sometimes from laughing. Let's see. Becca says, I'll have 19 family members coming over in the morning. Wow. 7 weeks to 92 years. Wow. 19, though, is going to be pretty crazy. Hopefully you can fit everyone in your house. That's still a lot of people. Unless you've got a giant house, that's going to be crowded. Evan says, visiting with family. We live in Maine, so our Christmas vacation is at home. Just watched a live stage play of A Christmas Story. A live stage play. Interesting. That would be kind of interesting. Making Christmas cards, Natalie says, and catching up on BTS content. Let's see. HM Costa says, I collect BTS Dynamite Legos. Is that a thing? They have BTS Legos? The only BTS thing I have is this. This is a actual butter lollipop, and if you're wondering, yes, it's still edible because we had a box of these and I ate one. It's still edible. They taste pretty good, but the problem is the size. They're awkwardly not big enough to just lick, but they're not small enough to stick in your mouth and suck on. So yeah, like 3 out of 5. 3 for the flavor, but -2 points for being awkward to eat. Sandra says, now that Bob Saget has passed, that's right, yeah. Yeah, I was sad to hear about that too. Same with, what's his name? Norm Macdonald, and then also Gilbert Gottfried. All kind of around the same time. Were they all 3 this year? I think they were all 3 this year. Korea with kids, have you perchance heard Brandon Sanderson's story about being forced to watch Jingle All the Way? No, I haven't. I would like that though, because while a lot of people hate that movie, so I don't know what he said about the movie. A lot of people hate that movie because they misunderstand it to be an annoying movie that pushes the consumerism culture of Christmas, but it's actually the opposite. Jingle All the Way is a great Christmas movie in the sense that it, like in the same way that A Christmas Carol is a good Christmas movie. It pushes not focusing on consumerism and instead focusing on spending time with family, being generous to others, care about your neighbor, that sort of Christmas message. It's not really a religious Christmas message. Neither is A Christmas Carol, although the original book was, but the movies, though, they're not. It's a really good Christmas message, I think, for Jingle All the Way. But the movie is, at some point, a bit annoying to watch for people, that they kind of forget that the whole time the movie is mocking the consumerism side of Christmas, and it's not promoting it. So everything about the movie is saying, don't do this. But yeah, I really like that movie. And it has a lot of funny quotes. Most importantly, put the cookie down now. Natalie says, is anyone into the Christmas romance movies like Hallmark movies? Oh, goodness. Hallmark movies. Yeah, those are, if copy paste were a movie, you've got the Christmas Hallmark movies. But some people love those movies because they know what they're going to get every single time. You get to watch the same movie over and over again, and it's going to be a little different each time. I guess that's good, right? I mean, Rocky 1 and Rocky 2, it's like the same movie over and again, but it's different. You get to watch the same movie, but in a different way. You get to get a different experience out of it. So it's fun. But no, I haven't been able to make it through a single Hallmark movie. Let's see. The lollipop is probably the same color as the background. Oh yeah, it's kind of like yellowish, so that's probably why. Beb Berry says, my favorite is Scrooge with Bill Murray. I haven't seen the movie from beginning to end. I've seen only clips of it. So many people here like the Hallmark movies. That's kind of funny. Yeah, I don't know. I need higher quality movie than that. I need there to be something special for watching a movie. I don't just want to see a movie that's about like, here's the story that happened, and then this happened, and then the end. Like, I don't want that when I watch a movie. I want something extra, like something, however, like, but oh no, but this happened. Like, I want something like that in my movies. So I'm not watching Hallmark movies, but I guess I get that for some people, they're like comfort food. Rocky 1 and 2 are good. Not the fights, but the story around things. Yeah, Rocky 1 is good movie. Rocky 2 is also a good movie. I really like them. Rocky 3 is fun. Rocky 4, I kind of want to forget that one. Rocky 5, also not that great. But Rocky Balboa was really fun. The one that came out, like, I think it's 2008. No, not 2008. 2006? Sometime around there. That one was great. I like that one. But then I never got into Creed. I couldn't finish the first one. I didn't like it. I don't know if it was the directing. I think it might have just been the directing. Made it hard for me to follow the movie. Bev Berry says, movie quote, the lamp, not the rat. Name the movie. Of course, Muppet Christmas Carol. The lamp, not the rat. Right? That's easy. You gotta do better than that. Are you talking with Gonzo? Let's see. Light Through Language asks a question I've never been asked before. Favorite Korean TV shows? Any you recommend? Yes. Most recently, I actually did really enjoy watching Squid Game, though not, excuse me, not necessarily for the same reasons that everyone else watched it, but I did like Squid Game recently. That was 2021, so a couple years ago. Wow, I was trying to write S at the same time as I was trying to write C and it came out. Signal. They're supposed to make a season 2. I actually hope they don't. Season 1 is perfect. As a Western drama watcher, someone who doesn't watch Korean dramas typically, this movie was easy to digest. This drama was easy to digest. And it's really similar to the movie which came out, I think in 2002 or 2000-ish, called Frequency. If anyone saw that movie. It was Dennis Quaid and I can't remember who the other actor was. But anyway, yeah. It's kind of like that. If you know what I'm talking about. Frequency was a movie that came out, like, didn't do that great in the box office, but it was kind of fun. It's that in drama form, but it's fun. It's like a young police officer can connect with someone in the past by using a radio, but only at a certain time. The radios from the past and the present, they get connected and they can communicate. And so the young one, the one in the present, asks the past one for help in solving a current murder case which was going on since the past. And it doesn't have much romance. There's like very little romance. There's one episode that focuses on romance, and it's not really that big of a deal. The rest of it is just a drama. So it's great. And it's police drama. Highly recommend it. I think it came out a long time ago now. 2010? Something 2010 or 2012. Sometime. It's been out for a while. But yeah, highly recommend that. I've watched several Korean dramas, but I just can't get into it. There's systematic problems with Korean dramas, the way that they make dramas and movies that just don't match with what I want out of entertainment. You won't get character arcs in Korean dramas or movies. The characters do not develop, which is it really bugs me. So it's hard for me to get into them these days, most of the time. I want characters that change and learn and grow. They shouldn't be the same in the beginning as they are at the end. And then I also want a satisfying ending. But so you at the end, it's okay if the character, the main character dies or whatever, or if they get, rich, whatever happens, that's fine. But it should be deserved. It should be as a result of the character's development. This is like typical filmmaking rules that we follow in the US. That it's just the way that the culture works. It's just they make different movies, which is understandable. Every country has their own cultural things that they like. The Korean people appreciate something else more than we appreciate something. Like American audiences they always want to have an action sequence. They always want to have this, the different things we want. But my basic thing that I want is I want to have character development. And that's not common in Korean movies and Korean dramas. They're the same characters the whole way through. And that's fine. That works for those storylines, but it doesn't match with me. Signal, though, however, does have character development, which is what which is what makes it stand out and why I really enjoyed it. NOK, what is that? Hold on. What? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's like like $100. Carl. Carl, thank you so much. Whoa, dude. Everything today is going toward, I said this before, everything today is actually going toward my son, Jeremy, but that's obvious since he doesn't have a job yet. He can't work yet, unfortunately. Thank you so much, Carl. I like your content and wanted to give a gift for Christmas. Thank you. Oh, that's so nice of you. Whoa. Can I give you some dabs? Would you like 100 dabs? You name how many dabs you want. I'll give you as many dabs as you want. Paris Stew also asked something before. Introduce a Korean drama it's easy to learn the language from. There is no such drama. But on YouTube, they do have some short drama series, which are probably easier to use. I know the King Sejong Institute has like a web series that's fairly easy to understand because they're in bite-sized pieces. Any sort of like web drama is probably okay because they're going to be short. They're going to be like only a few minutes long per episode. And they're going to be really simple, so you can watch them while on your phone. I would say try a web drama if you want something more simple. But real dramas, there aren't any that are made for beginners or for Korean learners. They're all going to be a really high level. I would say not dramas, then variety shows would be more easier to understand. Okay, Carl says one strong dab is enough. All right. I gotta move my tablet away. Gotta move my microphone so I don't hit anything. It's gonna be a really strong dab. Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna move this. A really strong dab here. Make sure I don't hit anything. Oh. Whew. Oh, I feel dizzy. Oh, that was strong. That hurt. How was that? How was that, Carl? Was that a strong dab? I can't do those too often. My doctor's going to tell me to stop. He's like, so what exercise have you been doing lately? Do you know dabbing? And he'll like, suddenly his like expression will get serious. It's like, I told you never to do those. Bev Berry says, do you like manga or anime? No, not really, no. I've seen some series before. Manga I've read, or I shouldn't say manga. I've read some before. I like the stuff that's like Squid Game style. So any sort of like games, those are kind of fun for me. So that's the manga that I've read have been that. So, but not like general popular stuff. I don't keep up with any of it. And I've seen a lot of anime series since growing up. My older sister liked watching that all the time, so I watched a lot of the stuff she was watching. But there's nothing that I really got into. Let's move this back. Okay. Yeah, Carl says quality over quantity. That's right. Can't do those dabs too much. Eve LaFay says, maybe you'd like Stranger. It's different from Signal, but somehow they felt similar in mood. It's not the mood, though. It's not the mood that I liked about Signal. It was they followed a lot of the same beats that you'll get in a Western, so American, but you know, any sort of Western style TV show, where you have characters that, like, you know, like the hero's journey, right? You have a character happy, everything's going great, but then something happens. But oh no, then they change. They learn something, and they have a hard experience, and then they you know, they kind of go through an arc. They go through a development, and by a few seasons, it's only one season. A few episodes into the season, they're a different character in some ways. They've learned something. They're different. In the very end, they're like, you know, they've learned and adapted. That's what you kind of want. Well, that's what I like. And I haven't found many shows that do that kind of thing. So, in fact, even Squid Game doesn't really do that too much either. It kind of does, though. I won't, without spoiling the ending, but there is a little bit of character development in Squid Game. But that's not the reason I like Squid Game. I just liked it because it reminds me of the normal, like the game style of shows that I would like anyway. And it's pretty much a carbon copy in some ways of a Japanese cartoon that I also enjoyed. Although all different characters, different story, but the same style, the same type of thing. So that's why I really enjoyed it. But yeah, typically you won't find much character development in Korean dramas or movies. And I really want that. So sometimes there are, and if there is, then that's the stuff that I would enjoy more. But anyway, I'll keep my eyes open for that Pimire Soup if I hear anything else about it. Alex says, are you telling us you've never watched Reply 1988? I am telling you, I purposely didn't watch that. I could not. I don't mean any offense to fans of the show, but I could not make it through the first episode. The directing was so grating to me. I couldn't take it. I wasn't sure who the main character is for 5 or 10 minutes into the show. And I wasn't sure if I'm supposed to like them or hate them. I didn't know what they were doing or why they were doing it. It was just, the editing was just, and directing was just all over the place. So I don't know if it got better, but I couldn't take it and I had to turn it off. Ayakata said, did you see Death Note? It's funny we're talking about like Japanese shows now all of a sudden. Yes, I have seen and heard about it. It's not my style though, but I kind of almost liked it, but it also wasn't my style completely. It wasn't smart enough for me to like it. It was more like a what would happen sort of situation than it was a playing games sort of situation. And there are some other shows I like. So Liar Game was one of my favorites, which is more focused on the gameplay type aspect of the show. And there's like a whole category of these types of shows. And it's not just like that, but there are a lot of shows that are about like playing games or gambling or something like that. And that sort of style, which is what I enjoy for the shows. And Death Note was not quite enough in that territory for me to really enjoy it, but I didn't dislike it. And it does have some aspects of it that do go that way, but majority of it was more just kind of a general like a drama show focused on the characters. Every Korean, though, knows Death Note, so. Alice in Borderland. Yeah, I watched that as well. That was... It didn't satisfy me enough, but I did enjoy it. I wish that they focused more... Again, I wish they focused more on the games. I want to see more of strategy, the characters using strategy to win the games, whereas that show focused too much on... what's it called? Deus Machina, is that what they call it? Where like suddenly like, oh, you're going to lose, but oh no, here you go, you win. Like, oh no, this character suddenly decides not to kill the other character. Like magically you win. I don't want that. I want the character legitimately outsmarts, or one of the characters legitimately outsmarts the other to proceed through the game. That, which is what you get in this category of other Japanese type of stuff. So like Liar Game and Kaiji and a few other stuff like that does it. So I want that. And Alice in Borderland didn't give me that as much as I wanted. And it sometimes would do that, but with other characters. And then you'd think, oh, okay, so the main character has to beat them. But it was just like, oh, randomly they lost and you win. So I wanted more outsmarting. I wanted Alice to be smart, and he's worthless. In like 90% of the episodes, he's worthless. And that really bugged me. If anyone's watching, you'll know what I'm talking about. He spends like 90% of the series doing nothing to help, but still somehow continues to proceed to the next round. I wish they made him smarter. Then that show would be perfect because it was cool. Besides that. Eminem Twix. Eminem Twix, thank you so much. Hold on, I'm just checking the time, making sure I'm... Okay, I'll have to stop in like 10 minutes, but Eminem Twix. Eminem Twix, would you like 40 dabs or 4 dabs or what would you like? Or 0.4 dabs? Hi, Billy. I'm busy with family coming to my house today, but I just want to send you my greetings. Happy holidays. During this break, I'm working through your Korean reading made simple with my study partner. Nice. I have an announcement about that coming up. I won't make it today, but glad you mentioned it. Thank you. And I said this before in case you didn't hear it. All the donations today go toward my kids' Christmas gifts. I'm getting him something extra. He doesn't know yet. I maybe shouldn't say it too loud or you might hear me. But yeah, it's all going toward a different Christmas gift I want to get my kid. I've already picked it, but I haven't given it to him yet. Verse Darling says he was kind of smart in the beginning. Yes, they presented him, Alice, they present him as someone who's smart. And then they waste that potential. And he only in a few episodes does he make himself useful. So that bugged me. I was like, come on, like I want to root for him, but he's not even trying sometimes. Like there were like 2 episodes where he just kind of like gave up and didn't want to do anything. So like, I get that. That's part of his character arc. But then after he went over that character arc, he still doesn't really make himself useful. So, yeah. But it did have a lot of cool characters, which kind of saved the show because you get to see like how the characters are interacting with each other. Twix says just 4 dabs. Okay, I'm going to give you 4 good dabs. Before we had Carl, who asked for 1 dab, donated $100 and got 1 strong dab. But Eminem Twix just asked for 4 dabs. So let's see. These have to be special dabs, though. They're not going to be strong dabs. I would break my arms if I did 4 strong dabs. But let's do 4 interesting dabs. I hit my fan. There's like dust coming off of it. I haven't turned it on in like 2 years. Ow. Eminem Twix, thank you so much again. James Termy says, Itaewon class has character development. Okay, that'd be cool. Light Through Language says, which BTS member did you enjoy studying the speech style of most? Jin. That's easy. Jin. He was my favorite. I just liked him because he had legitimately decent dad jokes, and he enjoyed making them. You could tell he's having fun with everything he's doing. Sandra says, I asked for Sweet Home, but voice command started playing Sweet Home Alabama, the Reese Witherspoon movie from like 20 years ago. I never saw that movie, but I haven't heard Reese Witherspoon's name in like decades. She used to be like all the rage. Let's see. Yeah, Dabs from Twix. Thank you again. Reply 88 has the most character development, does it? Yeah, if they can, I don't know, does it get better after the first 20 minutes? I just couldn't make it through. I just couldn't handle it. Can someone like remake that with a different director or a different editor or something? I think it's I'll blame the director though, because the director can look at the editing and say yes or no. So they need a different director and redo it, because I hear it's great. I hear people really like it, and you get to hear like Busan dialect and they say it's funny, but I just couldn't do it. Let's see. Oh, Niamat asks a question way up at the top of the chat. Billy, you married a Korean woman, right? Yes, I did. How do Korean parents feel about their kids marrying foreigners? Nowadays, they don't care. 20 years ago or so like back when I first got married, it was maybe a 50-50, where some people didn't like it. But the reason that people in Korea might not like it and might not have liked it is because they know that marrying a foreigner means that their daughter or their son is going to be leaving them and going to another country and not staying in Korea to take care of them when they get older, as is the norm. So yeah, that's common that the parents wouldn't like that. They'd oppose it because they want their kid to stay somewhere near them. That way that when they get older, they can have their kids take care of them. It's just a Korean culture thing. Nowadays, though, I think the majority would be fine with it. And in fact, some of them would even just say, oh yeah, that's awesome. Cool. You're marrying a foreigner. Have fun. You know, they know that their kid is going to be moving to another country. Maybe they're going to be having a better life depending on where they're going or who they're marrying. So yeah, I think generally, though, it's not looked down upon as much as it would have been in the past. Light through language. Was there any BTS member you disliked studying the speech of? Disliked studying the speech of? No, not really. No. They're all just unique. I didn't really dislike listening to any of them speak. That was fun. They're all okay. Any Song So-hee fans in chat? Who's that? Song So-hee? Song So-hee or Song So-hee? I think you mean Song So-hee. Yeah, Song So-hee. I have never seen her before. I don't know. I don't know what she sings. Analyze the speech of Roy Kim, suggests Alex. I'm not I've heard that name before. Do I know them? I don't know. Becca says, 18 years ago, my son-in-law's parents were not happy he was dating a foreigner. They absolutely adored my daughter. Yeah, that's also what happens sometimes is the parents will oppose it. And in the past, they did a lot more than today. They would oppose it, but then as soon as they have kids, they would love the kids. That also happens because now it's like, I get to be a cool grandmother or grandfather. So, I mean, yeah, I kind of get where they're coming from, but nowadays, they're more open to that. Nowadays, it's less strange if their kid is getting married to a foreigner, someone who's not Korean. And that doesn't mean you'll have an easy road getting parents' acceptance if you're going to go that route. There's still some stuff you'll have to deal with. But in general, though, it's more accepted. I don't know if anyone is currently dating or thinking of dating a Korean. But yeah, there will still be some hurdles you'll go through no matter what the parents think. It's good to hear your explanation of the culture, Billy. Sometimes YouTube will recommend videos of basically how awful it really is in Korea for foreigners. I mean, I'm not going to discount their experiences. So I can't blanket say that they're wrong. There are legitimate problems with being a foreigner in Korea that you may or may not experience, and it'll depend a lot on who you are. It'll depend a lot on what you look like, really. But that's kind of the same in the US too. It depends on how you sound when you speak. Like, do you speak the language or not? That's also another big deal, is that if you can't speak Korean and you're living in Korea, you're never going to get the same experience. It's not ever going to be as good as if you can speak Korean. So that's just a fact. If you speak Korean, relatively, you're going to have a better life in Korea than someone who doesn't. Eve Lafayette says, speaking of dad jokes, Billy, weren't you supposed to make more content with Korean dad jokes as you lost a contest again to Hyunwoo? Oh, I made a few videos with Korean dad jokes, actually. I did one most recently. When I did the analysis of TXT, I talked about dad jokes in that, as well as in a video where I did a dad joke game in my Glass with Billy series you can find on my channel. I don't have any more content right now, though, in the works for dad jokes. Carl says, Killing Voice. Ah, the show. I have never seen that show. Cypher says, on what you look like. Yeah. So I prefer to talk about positives in Korea over the negatives, because a lot of the negatives vary from person to person. So I don't like saying something that only applied to me or something that didn't apply to me but would apply to someone else. Like, I can't say Korean people would not discriminate against you if you're a foreigner, because they do, but not for the same reasons in the US. So there are differences with that. But yeah, the way you look can depend. I mean, my face screams American English speaker, but if you don't, you'll be treated differently depending on how you look. For example, if you look like someone who could reasonably have grown up in Korea, even if you don't speak Korean, the instant expectation of you is that you speak fluent Korean. And if you don't, well, you must have been lazy, you didn't study well, or haha, you don't speak Korean. And that's not everyone won't react that same way, but that's going to be the general feeling, is that person doesn't speak Korean. They should speak Korean like you're expected to, even if you have the same upbringing as someone like me. So it's not fair across the board for where you're from. Like, there are some prejudices, just like there are in any country, in Korea as well. But it's still not quite bad enough that I would say, oh, don't go to Korea. Like, so if you see someone saying that, it's just their experience was like that. Don't think that it's going to be everyone's experience in Korea, because Korea is a big country and there are many types of people in it and many different mindsets. There is no such thing as like every Korean does this or every Korean thinks this in Korea. They're very unique. You'll find people that are as much as like you would never know that they were born in Korea except that they speak Korean with their personality. There are people like that. There are all sorts of people in Korea that you'll meet. Alex says, Gene will be returning from the military 2024. That's right. Yeah, he'll be back. Yeah, the end of 2024, I believe, because he just went over there, like beginning of this year or earlier, yeah, I think so. Early in the beginning of this year. Charlie says, not sure if you've touched on this before. Is there a specific reason you chose to settle down in the US versus Korea? Was it a hard decision? Yeah. I'll answer that in a second. First, let me just check Aniki's. The people in green get priority, but I'll still go over yours, Charlie. Aniki says, you mentioned some stream you watched a lot of Sutak YouTube, the YouTuber, his videos. When I gave him a go, I also got addicted. Yeah, he's fun, but it's not the best way to practice listening. I'll just say that. So don't only rely on him. He uses a lot of expressions that are his that you'll hear. And his voice tone also is very recognizable. So much that you don't want to copy the way he speaks. Like he starts every video, 자, 이번에 할 게임은, like that. And then he'll say, something입니다. 자, 그럼 let's get it. He has these expressions he uses in every single episode. But yeah, add him to others that you're using, and I think it'll be pretty useful. And it's fun. It's fun to watch. I really liked watching his gameplay videos of Resident Evil, which I think it was 7 he played. 6 or 7? I don't know. But anyway, I don't care about the game. I never played it before. But his stream of that was really fun to watch. Like his reactions to it and how he plays. And he's decent at playing games too. He's not terrible, so it's also not too frustrating to watch him. Okay. And then Charlie says, is there a specific reason you chose to settle down in the US versus Korea? And was it a hard decision? Yes, it was a hard decision. I still think about it sometimes, but I keep deciding back on staying in the US. The biggest reasons are the weather. I just don't like humidity, but then again, I'm always in Korea during June and July and part of August, which are the hottest times in Korea. So even though I really don't like the weather, I still force myself to be in Korea during that time because that's the most convenient time with my son's school schedule. So I don't like the really cold weather either there. I just like more mild weather, and I get that in California. I don't like the general, the pollution. I shouldn't say pollution, the fine dust, 미세먼지, which is in Korea. You're supposed to wear a mask just to protect your lungs. My throat, as you can tell, I sometimes cough. That's because I have something called sinusitis, which just means I don't know a good way to explain it. Basically, I sometimes cough more than other people. That's the easy way to explain it. It's not sick or anything like that. It's just I'm more sensitive to this sort of stuff. So if I go into, if I'm outside and it's a day that has, worse fine dust, most people don't even care. They don't notice it. But for me, it'll make me like my throat hurt a little bit. If I go into a room where people are smoking, I'll like tear up and my throat will kind of close. So I don't like that. So that's the other thing is, the weather and that. And then the third reason is also really big, and that's just schooling. I want my kid to get a good education and have a happy education. I want him to like going to school. And that's simply not possible with Korea's current school system. There are lots of issues with Korea's school system. I'll say that. And it's not all cons, but overall, past elementary school, I would say you're better off in another school, in another country for school. So I could put him into an international school in Korea, which is more like what he would get in the US, and that's great. But international school in Korea is upwards of $20,000 to $30,000 per year, at least, plus books and additional supplies on top of that. But that's like the base tuition will be $20,000 to $30,000 per year. So it's really out of my range for doing that. So because of those things, those are the main reasons I chose to stay in the US. But who knows? Maybe things could change. Gene's scheduled discharge date is June 12th. Oh, that's not even that much longer. Okay. Carl says, it's a YouTube channel. Many famous Korean musicians come there to do short versions of their song. Is it a YouTube channel? Okay, I thought it was a TV show. Shows how much I know. 자, 해보도록 하겠습니다. 자, go get him. Yeah, that's right, Aneki. And he has other expressions like he'll call people different nicknames and stuff in the game. I can't remember what he called all of the enemies. Like because I haven't watched his videos now in like a year and a half since I stopped watching. I'd watched every single one and then stopped, and it's been a while. It's been over a year now. So I don't remember what he'd call them. It wasn't Fred. Was it Fred? Fred. I can't remember. No. It wasn't Fred. It was something else. But anyway, yeah, he had like nicknames for everyone and stuff, and it was funny. Xandria says, so if I crave moisture, Korea is a great idea, yes. Except in the winter, in which it is extremely dry, like ridiculously dry. Right now, my friend sent me a screenshot of their weather, and it was negative 12 degrees Celsius. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's so dry. Even when I was over there in November, it was already getting very dry and cold. So yeah, if you don't mind humid weather in the summer, it doesn't get that hot, but it does get very humid. So it feels really hot to me. And then in the winter, it gets really cold. So I just didn't like that. I just didn't like that kind of extreme weather. Bubblegum says, my Korean friend is from Daegu. Oh, I should go. But I'll take just one more question, then I have to leave for today because I need to go to my mom's house for dinner to meet my family. I don't speak English well, but I want to learn Korean. Your video is the best I found on YouTube. Oh, thank you. Bubblegum says, my Korean friend's from Daegu. Daegu has dialect? That's all I'll tell you. Daegu gets really hot in the summer. This is something that just people from Daegu know. So if you tell your friend that you know they live in Daepurika during the summer, it's a combination of Daegu and Afrika, but they call it Daepurika. So everyone knows that in Daegu, just because it gets super hot. So hot. It gets hotter in Daegu typically, or it feels hotter than it does in other places. And there might be other reasons to that too, but anyway, they call it Daepurika. Daegu has a lot of young people. Some people joke about, they say the most attractive Koreans are from Daegu. It's not really true, but that's what Koreans say. So you can tell that to your friend also. The dialect's very funny. It's different than Busan dialect. I've never done a video comparing them, but it's not the same thing. It's close. 한국어. 한국어. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is totally, all this is going toward Jeremy's gift. 한국어. Do you want 5 dabs? Do you want 50 dabs? What do you want? Let me know. You say, have fun tonight and tomorrow. Thank you so much. Yeah, tonight we'll be at my mother's house for just a get together with my family. Tomorrow morning will just be just me and my wife and my kid here at the house. We'll open some presents. Pretend that there's still Santa. My kid though, he kind of figured it out about Santa. I don't know if anyone's watching that has their kids with them, plug their ears. But yeah, my kid knows about Santa Claus, so he asked that a few months ago, but he still kind of wants to believe. So he still is going to do like the cookies and milk tonight and all that stuff. But tomorrow morning we'll see what Santa brought. Hanguga says 1 lazy dab. Okay. 1 lazy dab. I don't think I've ever done a lazy dab before. All right, this will be my last dab and then I'm going to go for today. So let's see, you get a lazy dab for Hanguga. Meh. Maybe I'll do it again. I was too lazy. Or maybe it wasn't lazy enough. How's that? How's that for a lazy dab? Xandria says V is from Daegu, so there might be some truth to that. Sure, yeah, if you're a fan of V. But yeah, these are just the things that come to my mind the quickest. If you tell anyone from Daegu, they'll be surprised. And personally, I love how Daegu dialect sounds more than Busan dialect. There is slightly different. The intonation, even though the words they use are like 99% the same, their intonation is ever so slightly different, and I prefer the Daegu intonation, personally. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I need to leave now really quick, take down this stuff, and go to my mother's house really quick. Thank you, everyone, so much for coming. Hope you have a wonderful whatever you celebrate. I almost said, I don't care. No, I care. Whatever you're celebrating, have a wonderful that. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, happy Festivus, happy anything else. If I'm missing something, I'm sorry. I don't know if there's any other holidays in December, but yeah, wonderful time. I'll see you again on Sunday. We'll start 2 weeks. We'll do the regular live stream. You didn't miss anything with this live stream. I'm not using it instead of a lesson. We'll still get a lesson from next week. I believe it'll be advanced level. So yeah, look forward to that. And I will see, oh, hey, Paul Siha, welcome back to the membership. And I will see you again next time. 그럼 다음에 또 봐. 다음에 또 봐.